Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Bill.
Welcome to Not the Retirement Show. Today we're chatting about how to think differently about depression in retirement. You know, this is a really big, serious subject. Some people who will see this video are struggling terribly. And the number one thing that we have to say right away is Bill and I have no medical qualifications whatsoever. The absolute number one thing to do if you're suffering is to absolutely, positively get over any kind of shame, reluctance, stigma inside yourself about talking to a medical professional. And the reason I'd say start there, sometimes depression is a side effect of something medical, and you absolutely need a professional's help to sort that out. Having said all of that, let's talk about some ideas about how to think differently about what's going on inside you.
Well, I think first and foremost, you've got to sort of be clear about the word depression, especially in the retirement years. I think there are sort of three parts to this. Part one would be just that your life in general, is such that you have some stress or whatever, you're kind of depressed. That could be any number of different things. It could be family issues, it could be financial issues, whatever. That's just your own life in general. I think that's number one. I think number two is external. In other words, external influences. I mean, obviously these days, there's a lot going on, and I would sort of caution that this particular show goes worldwide, and we don't do politics or anything like that. But certainly, without any doubt, there are some political issues in many countries around the world. There are some situations that we're all aware of, and I think some of those situations, things like inflation, for example, I think they cause depression. In a lot of people, perhaps in most people, filling up your tank with gas is just, got a lot more expensive around the world. But then I think that the third thing, and I focus on the words in retirement that you mentioned, that in and of itself can be a depressive situation. People just go, oh my goodness me, there is an end of life situation. It may be 5 years from now or 20 years from now, but that alone is a depression, kind of, catalyst.
Bill has just said a whole mouthful, and it's a little hard to even decide where to start. Here's the number one thing. I saw a quote on the internet that I think said it perfectly. Do you know who's struggling right now? And the answer to that question is everybody. There is so much going on in the world that is beyond an individual person's control. It can seem overwhelming. It can seem depressing. Bill just listed off a whole set of examples. So how do you tackle any of that if you've got the weight of the world coming down on your shoulders, however it happened? The number one thing you've got to do is, no matter how much you don't want to, you got to get out of bed. No matter how much you don't want to, you've got to get out of the house and do something, anything. Go for a walk, go sit in a shopping mall, talk to the dog, talk to a neighbor. Any old thing at all will do. You have to get yourself physically up and out of where you are now, because you have made this your safe wallowing place. And as long as you are in your safe, cozy, wallowing place, that is the thing that you will be most likely to do in our personal experience, not medical experience. So why does getting out of the house help? Because it is diverting. It helps you notice other things, see other things, think about other things. It helps you take your mind off whatever it is that you're wallowing about where you are at the moment.
The first, you're right, but you know, the first thing to accept is the reality. Now, I know it may sound tough and difficult to accept the reality of even mild depression. I think to sort of ignore it or submerge it in your everyday life,
or be in denial about it,
or be in denial about it, you know, I mean, that's not a good place to be. Now, on the other hand, you know, I mean, as long as you can accept the fact, you know, look, I'm a little bit depressed, and it may be about a specific issue, or it may be in general, as I was saying. So, you know, who knows? But accept it. You know, don't run away from it. Now, obviously, if you need medical help, then you're going to go seek medical help. But the first thing is within yourself, accept the fact that, you know, you're not feeling too sharp at the moment. There are things that are just niggling away at you, just annoying you. And as I say, be those external, be them internal, be them just completely personal, or, you know, the getting old factor. Just accept it. You know, you are getting old. I'm getting old, older, perhaps, you know, not much I can do about that. I accept that. That's the reality.
Well, Bill is absolutely right in that aging itself can be something that people tend to allow to depress them. Doesn't matter what it is that is upsetting you, that is worrying you, that is causing this sense of depression inside you. Find someone, anyone to talk to about it. And that might well turn out to be a medical practitioner. And if you have ruled out medical causes, a family member, a friend, the family dog, rather than nobody at all. Find somebody, anybody. And you know, here's the funny thing. When we have something that we are upset about, that we're feeling awkward about, do you know, a lot of the time it is easier to talk to somebody that we don't have a very deep, robust relationship with, because we're not really all that concerned about them judging us. We don't really mind what they say or what they think about us. We just really need to open up and talk about the whatever it is, to get it out on the table. Because sometimes even hearing yourself say it verbally can really be what they call an aha moment. You can go, oh, yeah, that's what's bothering me. Oh, well, I could fix that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think the bottom line is you have to face up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, I mean, I don't think we're necessarily here, particularly in this particular video, to give you 10 reasons or 10 things to do to avoid depression or to get out of depression. I think it's a very personal thing. And as I said a few minutes ago, I think, you know, the first thing to do is to accept the fact, but then to find some purpose in life, especially because you are getting older. You know, what am I going to do with my life? You probably led a very active life. You were, you know, perhaps working or whatever. You've led, you know, bringing up the kids and stuff, very, very active. You were here, you were there, you were, you know, you were late to bed, you were commuting. I mean, all these sort of, a lot of that perhaps is gone. So you now have a lot of free time, etc. Fine, accept that that's your life now. Get on with it now. But I think my big point is accept the fact that, yeah, you're maybe a little bit down at the moment. You know, find out ways to get through. I'm sure, you know, we'll do more videos where we perhaps have some specific ideas, but it's a very personal thing. It's something you really have to think about. But realize it, accept it, and try and make some changes.
I agree. And there's a couple of things to remember about all of this. Depression has to be tackled from the point of view that this is a problem that you can solve, but you're not going to solve it overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, because whatever it is that has you in the state that you're in, it took you more than one day to get into that state. It's going to take you more than one day to get out of it. So you're going to have to be patient with yourself. You're going to have to chip away at the whatever it is, little by little, day by day. And it's going to require a belief that you can get over this, can get out of this, even if it seems really, really hard today. You cannot give up. You must say, this is something I can get over in time.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the takeaway, is that you are getting older, things are happening in your life. But I always say this one thing, because I think it applies in any number of issues or areas that we chat about, is you can change your mind. I know that sounds very simple, but it's true that if there is something that you have caused within yourself, in other words, a decision that you made, okay, you can change your mind. And maybe just changing your mind will alleviate some of that depression. So my takeaway is, think about it. Think about the issues that are causing the problem. And if needs be, change your mind.
I completely agree. Well, if you're still watching, we must have changed your mind about something. We must have said something helpful. So please subscribe to our channel and we'll chat with you again soon. Take care, everybody.